Hi BookTube! My name is Sarah and welcome to the Bookish Knitter. Today I am coming to you with kind of a little bit of a what's been happening reading-wise in the last week. So maybe a mini daily check-in? Oh, well, you know what? I'll call it a check-in. That's what we're going to call it, because I have no idea what else this would be. So the first thing I want to say, you guys, okay, first of all, it is Saturday. It is the 21st of October, and it's about 3 in the afternoon. So my original plan had been to do, because the Dewey's 24-hour readathon is taking place right now. It started at 8 o'clock this morning, and it goes till 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time tomorrow morning. I'm not really participating. I was going to, but then life happens and whatever, so... that's why I thought, let me just sit down and chat with you guys right now about books. I was going to do a short, but I'm like, I'm already like a minute into this video and I haven't even started talking about books yet. So short's not going to work. The first thing I wanted to do is thank all of you so much. The video that I posted yesterday was difficult. Even after posting it, I thought to myself, should I have not? But, you know, I just wanted to let you guys know what was happening in case something happens, essentially, right? And I'm going to keep you updated again as I go through this journey. It's scary, terrifying, whatever frightening word you want to use, it is there. But I have to be positive and stay out of the dark place. And the dark place is a place that I was earlier this week, which I'm sure you guys can imagine. Your mind immediately just goes to the worst case scenario, and I can't live like that. I can't live, none of us, no matter how much time we have left, no one knows. You can't live thinking that way, in my opinion. So I'm here to make the best of it, do what needs to be done, and come out healthier on the other side. That's just the way I'm going to look at it. And I have my awesome Ghostbusters t-shirt on today. Got this from Walmart a few weeks ago and I hadn't worn it yet. And I'm like, oh, today's the perfect day for that. So a couple things in this video. So I am going to kind of share with you very briefly the 4 books that I finished over the last week, because I stopped vlogging on Tuesday. But I thought I would share them with you and let you guys know what I read and give you my ratings. I won't go into a lot of detail on them, just kind of what I've read, what I'm currently reading, and the fact that I went to the library today, which I had no business doing, but I did anyway. My husband's really being nice and indulging me over the last week. You know what? I'll take it. So anyway, what have I read over the last week? So, I'm trying to remember what order I read these in. So on Monday, I finished reading The Great Witch's Baking Show by Nancy Warren. I ended up giving that one 3.5 stars. I did listen to it on audio. It was cute. It was fine. It was fun. My issue with it is that I think it really suffered from first book in series syndrome, where you got introduced to a ton of characters because it takes place as a baking show. So you got all these other contestants you're meeting, plus the ground people like the cameraman and the mic guy and the woman who does the makeup. And plus there was like the whole mystery of one of the people who are on this baking show getting murdered. But also our main character, Poppy, dealing with her unknown, like her mother who left her abandoned at this doorstep. So there's these two kind of mysteries, and I felt like the one that dealt with Poppy's mother was more than the murder. So yeah, I mean, it was interesting. I liked it. Will I continue on with the series? Sure, why not? They're all available on Kindle Unlimited. They're all available on Hoopla from on audio. So I can read them at no cost. So I will get to it, the next one, at some point. And if the second one still isn't hitting the high marks for me, I might just DNF the series. We shall see. But I do really like Nancy Warren's writing, so that's why I want to give her more of a chance. Again, I think it was more first book in series syndrome kind of an idea. The next book that I finished was Brownies and Broomsticks by Bailey Cates, which I gave 4.5 stars to. I love that book. I love this series. I have made it up to book 5 or 6, and then I hadn't read any more. And that was years ago, a couple years ago, that I finished book 5 or 6. So I decided to go back and start the series again from the beginning. This is the series. The series is about a woman named Katie Lightfoot, who moves from Ohio to Savannah, Georgia, to run a bakery with her aunt and uncle. And she finds out she is a kitchen witch. Pardon me, sir. Every time I sit down, I have the hiccups. I just finished eating a bowl of grapes. That might be why. So They were delicious, by the way. So anyway, she finds out she's a witch, and then in the first book, there's of course a murder that takes place at this very mean, curmudgeon-y old lady, not the nicest person, is murdered in front of the store. The bakery. The bakery hasn't even opened yet. They were kind of doing a pre-launch thing, letting the local businesses hold a meeting there. And her uncle, Ben, I always remember the uncle's name because of Rice, Uncle Ben. I can't remember the aunt's name now. Isn't that horrible? But I remember the uncle's name. But he's being accused of the murder because him and the old lady had words, relatively strong words, just before she was murdered. So Katie's on the hunt to find out the whodunit. Love this series. This is a great book. Narrated on audio by Joanna Parker. And I was just mentioning in Discord that I had forgotten that Joanna Parker does the narration for these because it's been so many years since I've read them or listened to them on audio. And Joanna Parker also does the narration for the Campers and Criminals series by Tony Kappas, which is great. I mean, I like her a lot as a narrator, but because I've been listening to those books, I have had not Katie Lightfoot, I have had Mae West in my head with her voice, like with Joanna Parker's voice, if that makes sense. That, to switch it to, to switch it to a different character, it took me a little bit to switch my brain thought in it. And that really does talk a little bit about audio and how audio works and, stuff like that. And, I get it from people's perspective about audiobooks being not necessarily more difficult to read, but, when you have situations like that, it's really interesting. And, I didn't lessen the enjoyment of the book at all for me. It just took me a little bit at first to be like, who's Katie? Oh yeah, that's Katie. It's not May. And then I finished reading, did I even list that here? I did too. Okay, sorry, my bad. I'm having a day today, my friends. I have napped. I haven't really napped, but I've laid down a couple times because I've been tired. I've actually finished 5 books. So I've got my list in front of me. That's what I keep looking down at because my laptop is open. So the next book that I finished was Small Spaces by Catherine Arden. This book I gave 4 stars to. This is a middle grade horror novel, the first in the Small Spaces quartet. I will read the rest of them. So this was spooky. I can definitely see how it was definitely spooky for middle graders. It was spooky to me as well because it involves like scarecrows, which I've always found to be just a little creepy. I think that's the point of them, is to scare off the crows or something like that. Hence the name Scarecrow. But it just dawned on me all of a sudden. That was a blonde moment, live. So anyway, yeah, these kids, or this girl, she lost her mother the year before. Ollie is our main character's name. It's short for Olivia. She lost her mother a year earlier. You find that out over the course of the book, but you know that they talk about the mother in the past tense and things like that. So, and she runs across this woman who's kind of having a bit of a breakdown, if you will, and she wants to throw this book into the river, and Ollie's like, no, we can't throw the books away. We want to save the book, save all the books. So she grabs this book, and it turns out it's this handwritten book, like a journal of some kind, and it's titled Small Spaces. And it took place like 100, 200 years ago, about these events that took place in this area. So then the next day, Ollie and her whole 6th grade class are going to this farm, and the woman who runs the farm is the woman who was at the river trying to throw the book in. So then it becomes this whole thing that the bus driver is creepy, and he's like, you've got to get away, and there's these people coming. So Ollie and 2 friends end up running away from the bus and going and hiding, and the whole rest of their class is like abducted by these scarecrow people and this smiling man. So definitely creepy. I did really enjoy it. Like I said, I gave it 4 stars. I will definitely continue on with the series. It's a fun one. The next book that I finished, I loved as well, was Selling Sandcastle by Nancy Robards Thompson. I gave this book 4.5 stars. This is a Harlequin Special Edition novel. It's the first in the McFadden's of Tinsley Cove series. The second book is already out, so I'm hoping to actually get to the second book next month. We shall see. Excuse me. So it is about a woman by the name of Cassie who auditions to be on this like reality show, this cooking reality. Is it cooking? I think it's a cooking reality show. But she doesn't get picked. But then she gets called up like a month or 2 later by this producer guy going like, hey, you had great presence. You would be great. There's another reality show I'm doing I think you'd be great for. So it's this show called Selling Sandcastle. And what it is it follows a very well-to-do kind of real estate family empire in North Carolina in this small town called Tinsley Cove. And the family is the McFadens. And they want her to like come on as like an interior designer, someone who stages the houses, if you will. So then it's about her and the relationship with one of the brothers who run this real estate agency. So it's the two parents who are older, Bert and Bunny, and then the sons. Logan is our main character in this book. So there's 3 boys, like the 3 sons and then the sister. So I think we're going to have 4 books in total in this series, which will be great. So I am definitely looking forward to the rest of them. I love Nancy Robart Thompson's writing. She does tend to write on the sweeter side of romance. So while there is a love scene in this book, it's maybe a page long and it's mostly behind closed doors. She does talk a bit about, how do I phrase this? It's some of the talk between the characters or about things are not necessarily sweet. It can get a little spicy, but that scene itself, like those love scenes, are short and behind closed doors. So if that helps you make a decision on whether you want to read this one, I really enjoyed it. And last but not least, yesterday actually, I finished reading Christie's Big Day by Ann M. Martin. Was it yesterday? Yeah, it was yesterday. I gave this one 3.5 stars. I actually ended up listening to this one on audio as well. I had the extra money and my goal has been to try one of each of the Babysitter's books on audio because each book is being narrated by a different narrator. So I really love that they went that direction because it really gives a true voice to each of the babysitters in the series. So the first 5 books are narrated by, is it Elle Fanning? I think it's Elle Fanning, Dakota Fanning's younger sister. I haven't listened to them. I listened to the preview of the first one and it's fine. It's fine. But I really like I said, what they've done with the rest of them where all of Christie's books are being narrated by Brittany Presley. Brittany Presley typically does, or I have listened to her as some very adult romance novels. And she did such a great job as Christie. Like, honestly, like I was really able to separate the books I'd heard her do before to this. And it was kind of really fun to listen to on audio. Because lately I've been listening to my audio at normal speed. Like, I'm really not speeding up my audiobooks lately. Mainly because I'm listening to them at work while I'm doing other things. So I want to be able to focus on, do you know what I mean? I don't want to be like, oh, wait, like if I tune out for a second looking at something and come back to it and be like, wait, what happened? What did I miss? And I think that, like, the fact that it was a Babysitter's Club book. In all reality, I could have sat down and read it in an hour in the print book format. But the audiobook was like 2.5 hours, a little over 2 hours. So I listened to it like 2 or 3 chapters a day over the course of the entire week. It was delightful. And this part of me wants to continue doing it that way. Like, unfortunately, the audiobooks are a little, like, for a 2-hour long audiobook, it's, I think, like $7 or something like that. But then when I stop and think about it, I read it over the course of 5 days. So I got 5 days of entertainment for $7. So that's not bad when you think about it that way, right? I mean, if I was going to fly through it at 2 times speed, no, I wouldn't pay the money, I don't think. But it was fun, and I really, really am glad that I did that. So anyway, guys, that's my wrap-up for this week. Sorry, my window's open, or it's not open, but the curtain's open, and it's really windy out today. There's a tree right outside my bedroom window, because that's where I'm sitting. Excuse me, hold on. And it's still almost completely green. It hasn't even really started to change color yet. But I have Christmas lights up around my window right now too. And actually, I'm watching Ollie on, Criminale on. Or I will be when I'm done. I started watching his video and then I'm like, I should really record something while the sun is still out and blah, blah, blah. So here we are. So the next thing, let me close that screen. Oh, now you don't get that clear anymore. Is that Garrett and I went to the library today. I had to take back 2 books. The one that I had finished last week, The Whispering Pines and Small Spaces. So I took those back and dropped them off. And I said to Garrett I wanted to go inside. And he's like, well, why? He goes, you have a whole room full of books. I'm like, but I don't have the books at the library. So we went in very quickly and he kind of followed me around. And he prefers all of his books digital, right? So that's fine. I found this one book and I'm like, oh, that looks so cute, but I didn't have my phone on me. So Garrett went on Goodreads for me and checked and saw that it was third in the series. So we looked and they had books 1 and 2, and Garrett goes, oh, you should just borrow all 3 and binge the series. I'm like, have you met me? I don't generally binge series, but I thought it's only a 3-book series. Like I asked him, I said, how many books are in the series? He goes, it's only 3. So I'm like, you know what? I think it might be a lot of fun to try and binge through all 3 and see where we go. So the latest book was published in 2017, so there will not be any more. So it'll be kind of nice to read all 3 and kind of be like finish the series. And I think it kind of still fits a bit with the October spooky witchy books, because this is the A Witch's Cat mystery series. So the 3 books are A Familiar Tale by Delilah James. This is the first book. These covers are just delightful. Look at them. I would love that, in all honesty, as a painting on my wall. All 3 of them. I just think they're just so charming. And then the second one is By Familiar Means. Not familiar, like I am familiar with your work, but familiar with like A Witch is Familiar, essentially. That's book 2. And then book 3 is Familiar Motives. Again, just absolutely delightful. So I got all 3 of those out. So what am I currently reading? I decided to pick up the first one, but even though I just borrowed the book in a print book from my library, I also went ahead and grabbed the digital book from the library. Because in all honesty, my friends, I mean, I grabbed these off the shelf. I was so super excited. I got home and I was going to sit down and start reading it. And I'm like, that print is so tiny. My eyeballs can't do it, guys. My eyes can't do it. So I borrowed it. Will I take these back? I probably will. I probably will take them back because all 3 of these books are available digitally from the library. So just to show you guys the print size that I read, which I find comfortable. My husband makes fun of me, saying I'm a little old lady for doing this, but I like to be able to read the book without having to strain my eyeballs. So, yeah, that's how big the print is. But that's okay. I'm excited. So, yeah, like I said, I will probably drop these off and take them back and let somebody else borrow them if they want to, but I'm going to read it digitally. And it is, I'm reading that, in case anyone's curious, I'll share this with you, on my Kobo Sage, my beast. This is the biggest Kobo you can get. No, wait, I think the Eclipse, or the Ellipse, I can't remember what the newest Kobo is called. The Ellipsa, I think? I don't know if the screen size is bigger. I am now curious. Hold on. Talk amongst yourselves. Kobo. I just want to see, because I am curious now. Good thing I have my laptop open in front of me, eh, friends? Apps and e-readers. So the Ellipsa 2E is the most pricey, okay? So it's like the highest end one. It comes in at $400. This is Canadian dollars. Yes, take me to the Canadian store. Why am I on the US store? E-readers. Here we go. The Ellipsa 2. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. It's $500 Canadian. Whew, yikes. It is similar. It is comparable to the Kindle Beast. What's the one? The Scribe? The big one from Kindle? That's what it's comparable to, the Kobo Ellipsa. I don't need to. Oh, I hate pop-ups. So anyway, the Ellipsa, I'm just curious because I want to see the difference here. Do they give me a breakdown? Because that's what I would like to see is compare, like, you know, this one is, okay, here we go. So it's a 10.3 e-ink, 1200 touchscreen, 227 ppi, whatever the heck that means. So that is that one. So this one is the next one down, which is the Sage. It is the Kobo Sage. And this comes in at a whopping $2.99. So I did pay, I think I got this on sale actually, you guys. Part of me still wants to get the Kobo because a lot of you mentioned when I mentioned that I decided not to get it, how much you love yours. So this is an 8-inch. So the next one up is 2 inches bigger. Sorry, I don't know why you guys needed to know that, but I thought I'd share it with you. So yeah, so this is on my Sage, which I love. It's got the buttons on the side. It is super duper light. You know, I think this thing is awesome and I absolutely love it. And this I feel comfortable enough taking to work. That I know some people with their scribe, what they said is like, oh, I don't take it to work. I read it at home. And that's my thing, is I want something that I can cart around with me. So I might just have to stick with my highest end Kobo, or my highest end Kindle, which I'm reading a book off right now, which is my, what the heck is this? The Oasis. So this is my Oasis, same idea, buttons. So I am reading The Big Island Killer by R. Barry Flowers. Oh, A Familiar Tale I have not started yet. But I'm going to start it soon. Probably when I'm done recording this while this is being uploaded. So by R. Barry Flowers, this is the first in the Hawaii CI series. It's a Harlequin intrigue novel. So it's about a detective in the Hawaii PD who is after a serial killer, and his partner passed away, or was murdered, excuse me, a few months earlier, and he's been having a difficult time getting over his death. So his, almost called him his coach. So his sergeant, or whatever it is, told him to go see this woman named Elena, who is a grief counselor, because she helped him when his sister had a stroke, when the sergeant's sister had a stroke. So he goes and meets with her, kind of like, it's an almost immediate attraction between the both of them. But, you know, they're unsure about it because he's a cop and she's a widow and yada, yada, yada. And, but all the murder victims of the serial killer look like her. They're Native Hawaiian. So around a certain age, certain hair color, all those things. So anyway, so he wants to protect her. I'm about 25% of the way through this one. I just started it yesterday and I am really enjoying it, you guys. It's really good. This is, in all honesty, my first book by R. Barry Flowers, who is actually a gentleman, who writes for Harlequin, and I think that is super fantastic, so yay on that one. And last but not least, I started this one yesterday as well, on audio, but I'm now going to continue to read it as a print book because it's the weekend, and I tend to not listen to audio on the weekends. Enchanted to Meet You by Meg Cabot. I am loving this so much. So it's about our main character named Jessica, who in high school decided to start practicing witchcraft. And her and her best friend do this together, and she put a love spell on this guy, and it was very much like the movie The Craft from the 90s. For any of you who remember that, that was such a good movie. Anyway, the whole part where she makes the guy fall in love with her, you kind of get that stalkerish type situation happening. So that was in the past, and now in modern day, or in today's day, there's something weird happening in this small town that they live in. And she is the chosen one, who has been asked to find this 16-year-old girl in high school and help to teach her or train her to be a witch, to stop this thing from happening in town. There's also a romance, of course, with her and the guy, but it does go back and forth to the events that took place in high school to now, because one is affecting the other. It's fantastic. I am loving this so, so much. I just think it's absolutely great. I'm about 120 pages in, and yeah, this is just absolutely fantastic. I cannot recommend this one enough right now. So guys, that's it. I didn't expect this video to be that long. It's a good thing I decided not to do a short. I'd be doing a bunch of them. I'm also knitting while I'm watching BookTube. I'm working on my sock. So I'm working on my sock. It looks so tiny, doesn't it? It looks like something for a little kid. Honestly, it's going to fit my leg. It's going to fit my foot. I'm knitting this on my double points, my US 1 wooden, just double points. I don't remember who the brand is or anything like that. They've been sitting with the rest of my knitting needles forever. I love knitting on double points. I really do. When it's just a plain sock, which is what I'm doing, it's just so easy. So I did finish the first sock, or actually earlier this week, or yeah. So here is the first sock all done. I'm so happy. It's got the heel in there. I need to weave in the ends. But other than that, the sock is done. And it fits. I always try to check that to make sure it fits. But yeah, so there's that. Guys, that's it. I'm going to let you go. Tomorrow I'm going to start a new vlog for the week, because we're only looking ahead at the good things right now. And let me see, what else did I want to tell you? Oh, so tomorrow starts the page count reading challenge, which reminds me I've got to go on Discord right now and start the group for that. So I will do that right now. But yeah, that starts next week. So it runs for 7 days. So it's essentially challenge yourself to read as much as you can. I'm challenging myself to 1,000 pages. So let's see. I have beat that. I have passed, I think 2 weeks ago I hit 1,500 pages. And this week, as of yesterday, I was at 1,200 pages. So I should surpass, I would like to get to 1,500 pages again for this week, but starting tomorrow, 1,000 is my goal, but 1,500 is like in my head goal, if that makes sense. So anyway, guys, that is it. I will be back with another video on Monday. Will I be back with another video on Monday? I think I have to do some filming tomorrow. Let me double check, please. Sorry. No, because normally Sunday my vlog would go up. I will have another video up on Tuesday. It will be at my Harlequin Anticipated Reads, so stay tuned for that. Live reading sprints on Wednesday here on the channel. And I'm actually going to do a Crafty Adventures video next Thursday. Kind of showing you guys a bit of what I've been crafting on. Like, you know, showing you a bit more of the sock, talking about a bit more of the other pair of socks that I started. And I haven't really been doing much more than that, a little bit of cross stitch, so it won't be a terribly long video, but I really want to get back into doing those again, so I'm going to try and do them once in a month. And then, of course, my weekly TBR on Friday. So guys, that's it. I will talk to you in my next video. Take care and happy reading. And again, guys, thank you all so much. You guys mean so much to me. And I did see the comment about the Patreon. I had pinned that comment on that video. That is something that I had been thinking about, but wasn't sure exactly how all of you would react to it. So if I did do a Patreon, let me throw this out now. If I did decide to do something like that, what kind of like perks would you guys like to see? I was thinking about having just one tier. Just one tier, that's it. You know, all access kind of, you know, this is just kind of you're supporting me. I think there's another creator that I follow and he calls it the tip jar. But I was thinking about for people on Patreon to have like early video access to certain things. And I was thinking maybe a Patreon only book club, you know, where we all read, you guys pick a book and we, you know, like I throw 5 books out there at the beginning, you know, the month before, and we pick for the next month, that kind of an idea. But let me know if there's anything else that you guys would like to see. Cause yeah, but like I said, I think I'd like to keep it at just one tier just to make it easier on everybody. But again, my sincerest thanks to all of you. You have no idea how much you mean to me. And I was showing Garrett and he was just, yeah, it's been hard, but we're going to get through this and we're going to be okay. Thanks so much, guys. Talk to you later. Bye.